day today, and I know me saying that can strike dread into your hearts. If it's any consolation, I've just taken the dog for a 2.5-hour walk, so my hips are feeling really tight. So I will be suffering along with you. You are not alone. You're going to need some props today, because I thought what we would do is some longer holds. These are big muscles we're dealing with, and they like to be given some time in which to relax. So you might need a couple of blocks, the chunky ones. If you haven't got these, a couple of big books would do just fine, so don't think that you've got to get special equipment or anything like that. You might also want a strap or two, and again, if you haven't got one of those or a couple of those, dressing gown belts, absolutely fine, normal belts, fine, doesn't matter. It's just if your arms aren't long enough, using a belt can help just draw things a little bit nearer. Sorry, I'm still sniffing with this cold, it's lovely, isn't it? And you might also want a blanket for your knees. All right, so go and get all that stuff together. Be brave. It won't hurt that much, honestly. Remember, any discomfort that you feel, I'm laughing, I shouldn't laugh, but it's just that I know what's coming. Any discomfort you should feel, think of it as, you know, when you've got a loose tooth and you can't leave it alone, and it's like a delicious hurt. It's kind of like that working with hips. Anyway, we'll see how we get on. Come to the top of your mat. So rather than starting off standing, we're going to come to all fours and just start that warming up process. Table pose, Goasana. Lifting the belly, contact with the mat. Here we go, inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling. So when we're working with hips, it can often impact the lower back. So it just makes sense, really, just to give the lower back a little heads up. It's going to be working. Inhaling, just keep going, find the rhythm of your breath. Don't worry about following mine. And then after your next cat pose, this position here, just take your hips towards your heels. Stretch your arms as far forward as you can. And relax the forehead on your mat. Now just gently push into your hands to send some energy back. So there's a gentle encouragement of the hips towards your heels. Externally rotate those upper arms so the shoulders feel integrated into the back. Breathe here. Keep releasing into the lower back. And walk yourself back up and take your knees wide, keeping the big toes together. So we're just starting to work into the groins, into the hips a little more. And you can walk yourself back down again. And again, keeping that tension going into the mat. Just softly, not being rigid, but you want to feel that energy travelling back along the spine. Your hips joining in there with a big sigh. coming back up to all fours. Inhale your right leg back. And as you exhale, cross the right leg over to your left, tucking the toes under. And you're just going to look over your left shoulder. So you feel a bit of a stretch down the right side of the body. Breathe. So you see we're working at a lot slower pace today. Inhale the leg back up, float it back down, do the same on the other side, left leg goes back, inhale. And exhale, take it over to the right, look over your right shoulder. Inhale, come back to centre. Exhaling, big toes together, take the knees wide. And this time to release the wrists and the shoulders, we'll take the arms down by the side, soften the belly and release those hips. So very much tapping into the yin energy, the feminine energy. It's quieter, it's softer, more introspective, but still gets an awful lot done. And then come back up. And at this point, you might want to get your blanket for your knees. I tend to be okay, but I think I'll pamper myself today as I've been walking for miles. So you're going to come onto all fours again and just step that right foot forward, and then you're going to slide the left knee as far behind you as you can. So I'm coming into a lunge position. So I'm going to need to move my blanket actually a bit further back, but it might have been fine where you had it. Just play with the space. That's more like it. So let's just take a moment here, just coming into a lunge. The knee ideally would be over your ankle. Here we go, lift the belly, lengthening up. Again, we just hold it here for a little while to see how it feels. And then as we exhale, we're just going to, oh, I'm feeling that in the hamstrings. We're just going to straighten the right leg up. You can move your hands back here. Lift the belly, shoulders back. Let's breathe here a while. My hamstrings definitely need a bit of a stretch, so let's indulge me. And then we'll inhale, let's enjoy another lunge. So move the hands forward, roll the shoulders back, lift the belly, sinking into the hips. And then on your next exhalation, let's roll back again. Inhale. Have you created any more room there now? Does it feel a little more comfortable? So this is going to help with your stepping forward. It's one of those things, one of those maneuvers that most beginners struggle with. But let's just be patient, bide our time. All is coming, is Padabi joy once said. And then we're just going to step ourselves back. And sway out the hips, figure of 8. We'll go the other way. And then we need to do the other side. So stepping the left foot forward. Don't worry about lifting the hand or not lifting the hand. So 3 lunges, okay? Don't forget to lift that belly. It's important that we sort of try and lift ourselves as much out of the pelvis as we can. And just see, how does this compare? So if you've got your blocks and you've got shorter arms, they come in quite handy, don't they? And then let's exhale ourselves back. Let's compare this hamstring. It doesn't feel as tight, but then my left leg isn't my dominant leg. So over time you start to build up this picture of your body, how it actually is. Very conscious awareness of what bits are tight, what bits are quite happy to relax. So yoga is always this journey of discovery. Let's inhale back to that lunge. And then we exhale our way back when you're ready. To that hamstring stretch. So engage with this heel here with the mat. So you're not just, I always say this in class, you're not just plonked on your mat. You've got this relationship with your mat. So here, if you're getting any discomfort from behind the knee, which is very common when you're stretching hamstrings, it's because you're troubling the attachments to the bones, which we don't want to do. We want to stretch the muscles, not the attachments. So if you just press your heel into your mat and draw the heel towards you without actually moving it, you'll feel your hamstrings contract. So you know then that your joints are going to be quite safe, that any discomfort behind the knee should move up to be here. So again, really important to keep that engagement with the mat all the time. And then we'll come forward to the last lunge. Oh, you're having a dream. And then we'll plant the hands down, tuck the back toes under, and exhale to a nice down dog. And again, have a little shimmy. Move those hips, bend the knees. And then from there you can lower the knees to your mat, flatten the feet, knees wide. Child's pose. So hopefully already you're starting to feel the glutes and the hip muscles. They just feel a little softer. Now, if you've got very tight hips, you've probably got a tight lower back. So you might feel that you're tipping forward in child's pose, which doesn't always feel great. So remember, use a prop. Rest the forehead. Whenever you use a prop, it means that your body can relax more, so it makes sense. So, stretching your arms forward, coming back to all fours, tucking the toes under, exhale, down dog. Now inhale, take your right foot up behind you, look forward and step it through. If that went wrong, don't panic, grab your foot, bring it through. Now this time you're going to walk your right foot out to the edge of your mat, maybe turning it about 45 degrees. We're going to move into lizard pose. Play about with this. For me, it's about 45 degrees. It might feel different for you, so you don't feel that you can't move your foot to get the right angle. Just make sure that the knee follows the direction of the foot, okay? Now you might want to start with your knee on your mat. See how that feels. Again, you could be up on blocks here. So this is a really lovely hip opener. It's one of my favourites. And we'll breathe here. So that's one option. We're going to time it for a minute. We're going to hold each side for a minute. The other option is to pick up that back knee. Play with it. Find the version you like the best, right? So, I've got my trusty watch here. Find the pose you like. Oh, my watch upside down. And let's find our lizard. So if you've got that back knee lifting, just press back through the heel. Keep the back of the thigh lifting to the ceiling. Let's get some space around the shoulders. Let's draw the shoulders back. And we'll breathe. Now, if everything's feeling okay, you might now be able to come down a little further. So you could either move the blocks out of the way and come down onto your hands, or if you're on blocks, maybe come down onto your forearms. If you know you're more open in the hips, then you can come all the way down. And then come back onto your hands, step back and pedal out. So don't assume that your left side is going to be exactly the same. You might have to modify this in a different way. So you've got all those options there available to you. So inhale that left leg up, look forward. And let's just step it wide. Get that front foot comfortable. Either use your blocks, don't use the blocks, just work it out. Maybe have the knee down, but make sure those toes are flattened, or don't have the knee down. Because it's a very personal practice. Here we go again. So don't be in a hurry to get down. Let's just see if we can open up the space for that to happen, and it might not happen. Maybe coming down into a position that suits. Try not to list to one side. If you find that you've got more weight on your right arm at this point, you probably need to come up a little higher. And walk yourself back up. Step back to your down dog. Have a pedal out. And then come down, child's pose. and then come back up to kneeling. So shift the blanket out of the way if you're on a blanket. At this point, you might want to sit on your skinny block or a rolled up blanket. We're going to do a little bit of hip work from sitting position. Using the block just helps take pressure off the lower back that we were talking about earlier. You've got tight hips, the lower back can be tight as well. So you could be up like this if you prefer. Be sensible about it. Don't bully your body into doing something it's not ready for. And this is quite a strong one. We've done it before, or some of you will have done it before. If you're sat on your mat, remember, just pull the flesh gently away from your sitting bones. Sitting in Dandasana, stick pose, rolling the shoulders gently back and down. And even though our feet aren't on the mat, we're still connecting through the feet to get the lift through the spine and the crown of the head. Inhaling. And then on your next exhalation, you're going to pick up your right foot. Support the knee, and let's just explore the extent of your joint. So playing around. And then seeing if it's possible, and it might not be, to place your right foot in the crook of your left elbow. Interlace your hands. Inhale, sit tall. So if that's not available for you at the moment, you would hold on to the foot, support the knee, and again sit tall. Just find, it might be down here, it's fine. So just find that position. What can you soften when you're in this pose? Can you rock the baby? Ah. So you'll notice I'm keeping the foot flexed. That's just to help keep some support to the knee. Gently release. What about your knees? Re-establish your Dandasana, ready to do the other side. So if that means readjusting those buttocks, readjust. So we make that connection again. And as you exhale, bringing up the left foot, supporting the left knee, and let's just explore the joint. Again, does it feel different from the other? Is it clunky? Maybe it grinds a little bit, or it's just tight. Remember, a lot of these hip openers that we're doing, they do depend on your skeleton just as much as any tightness in the musculature. If your skeleton's not going to allow your thigh bone to move in a certain direction out of the socket, then you're never going to be able to do that pose. And that's just a question of acceptance. There's nothing you can do about that. So then placing your left foot in the crook of your right arm. Inhale, sit tall. On every exhalation, can you soften? Rock the baby. Maybe it will grow into its looks. Sitting tall again. And release. Well done. What about your knees? So again, you could still stay on the block for this one. We're going to do the legs for Gomukhasana, cow face pose. It usually elicits a lot of groaning and moaning, this one, but now you've done all the work previous, it might actually feel a little more accessible to you now. Important thing here is both buttocks will be in contact with the block or your mat. It's very easy to lean to the side of the lower leg. So I've got my right leg on top. So I'm not mirroring for this one. Right leg on top if you can. Heels by your hips. And you're going to sit nice and tall. Just see what's going on in the hips. You're going to feel this more in the top hip than the bottom hip at the moment. Inhale, lift the core, lift the heart. Exhale, hinging forward. Now, notice the sensations in your hip as you come forward. They're going to get more intense. So stop. When you reach an edge, stop. And we breathe here. Using that exhalation to soften. Feeling that deliciousness here? Inhale, lengthen up a bit. Exhale, can you come down a little more? And again, I'm going to time us here. Walk yourself up. Now pay attention. You're going to turn to the left, but you're going to stay on the balls of your feet. So turn to the left, turn, 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 land. Hopefully you've now got your left leg on top. If that didn't go well for you, you could just sort it out manually. Get those buttocks both down on the floor or your block equally. Inhale, let's just see how this feels. Doesn't feel too bad on this side. So here we go. Inhale, lengthen, lifting the belly. Exhale, hinge forward, lead with the heart. Find your first edge. So you might have several of these on your way into a pose. Roll the buttocks down. Soften. Inhale, lift, lifting that belly. And let's come down again on this side. Walking yourself back up, under your legs, hold them out. You can now come to lying on your back. Now, if you've got your straps handy, grab your straps. And do happy baby pose and under Balasana. It's a lovely one to do after all this hip work. So just bring your feet to the floor. Settle the lower back. So you might want to lift the hips and settle them back down again. Let's take a moment here. And then you just bring the knees in, take them wide. And then bring the soles of your feet to the ceiling. So imagine a baby with his legs waving in the air. Now, if you're using a strap, you're going to lasso each foot with the strap, and then you're gently going to encourage the knees down to the side by pulling on the straps. And it's a gentle pull, it's not a tug. If your arms are long enough, you're going to reach in between the knees and find your outer feet. All right, inhaling, exhaling, and just see, gently pressing the knees towards your outer ribs. You should find that your lower back is pressing into the mat. All right, we don't want this happening. We want to keep that lower back nice and supported. Shoulder bones, or rather collarbones, are nice and wide. Your head is relaxed, chin drawing in. And gently release. Bring your feet to the floor at hip width. Take your arms out to the side. We'll just have a couple of little windscreen wipers. Jatara Parivartanasana. Inhale. Exhale, drift those legs over to the right, head to the left. Inhale back to center. And let's exhale the knees to the left, head to the right. 2 more times each side. Inhaling the knees back to center from the left. Exhale, bring both knees into your chest, hand on each knee, and we'll just roll around the lower back. First one way, and the other. And then you can prepare for your final relaxation, moving into your Shavasana. So if you can spare 5 minutes just to relax, release, let go, please do. It's not something to be rushed, but well done. I hope your hips feel a little looser and a little more flexible now. Thank you very much. Namaste.